There's only one way that Prince Andrew can redeem himself now. Welcome, Royal Watchers, to Crown Chronicles, your ultimate destination for everything royal, regal, and real. If you're fascinated by the drama behind palace doors, the power struggles within the House of Windsor, and the human stories that lie beneath the crowns and titles, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because today's story is one that could redefine the legacy of one of the most controversial figures in modern royal history. Yes, we're talking about Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, the man who once walked proudly behind the Queen at state banquets, who served in the Royal Navy with distinction, who was once dubbed the Queen's favorite son. But today, he stands as one of the most disgraced members of the royal family. And with the royal household trying to reshape its image for a modern world, there's only one way left for Prince Andrew to redeem himself. And it's not what most people expect. Let's rewind for a moment. Prince Andrew's life has been a royal roller coaster, filled with privilege, controversy, and an almost Shakespearean fall from grace. Decades ago, he was the dashing war hero, a helicopter pilot who served during the Falklands War, a royal heartthrob who courted glamorous women, and a prince with promise. The public adored him, and the press loved to call him Randy Andy, a cheeky nickname that captured his party boy charm, but somewhere along the way, that charm turned into carelessness. Andrew's judgment, especially when it came to the company he kept, became his undoing. His association with Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier whose crimes shocked the world, changed everything. And that now infamous BBC interview in 2019, where he tried to clear his name but instead delivered one of the most catastrophic interviews in royal history, sealed his fate. In the aftermath, Andrew was stripped of his royal duties, banned from representing the crown, and forced to step back from public life entirely. Even his military titles, which he held dear as a former serviceman, were returned to the Queen. In many ways, it was as though the Duke of York had been erased from the royal landscape, but despite his downfall, one thing remains clear: Prince Andrew refuses to accept that his story is over. Behind the scenes at Royal Lodge, his Windsor home that he's reportedly determined to keep despite the King's pressure to downsize, Andrew still dreams of a comeback. Sources close to the royal household say he believes he's been unfairly treated and that time will eventually prove his innocence. But here's the truth, and this might surprise you: the only path left for Andrew's redemption has nothing to do with reclaiming royal titles, public appearances, or media sympathy. The only way Prince Andrew can ever truly redeem himself is through genuine, selfless humility, and a complete break from the world that brought him down. Imagine this: instead of clinging to the trappings of royalty, Andrew quietly devotes the rest of his life to service, not the glamorous kind with cameras and ceremonies, but real, meaningful work far from the spotlight. There are veterans' charities, rehabilitation centers, and causes that could use his help, places where his military experience and leadership could actually make a difference. A prince who humbles himself, who serves without expecting recognition, could slowly shift public opinion. It wouldn't happen overnight, it might not even happen in his lifetime, but actions speak louder than press statements or royal favors. The public might never forget what he's accused of, but they could, in time, begin to see a man who chose responsibility over reputation. King Charles, meanwhile, has made it clear that the slimmed-down monarchy has no place for scandal. The monarch's focus is on maintaining stability and trust, particularly as the younger royals like William and Kate continue to modernize the image of the crown. Andrew's presence threatens that carefully built image. And yet, even Charles reportedly feels torn between his duty as king and his loyalty as a brother. Behind closed doors, sources suggest that Andrew and Charles have had difficult conversations. The king is said to have offered his brother private support but no public reinstatement. Andrew, for his part, still hopes for a chance, perhaps a small public role or charity engagement that could signal his gradual return. But every time his name resurfaces in the headlines, it's a reminder of how fragile his position truly is. And then there's Queen Camilla, known for her sharp instincts about public perception, who reportedly believes that any attempt to bring Andrew back into royal duties would be disastrous. Prince William, too, has been described as firmly against any return for his uncle, seeing it as a step backward for the monarchy's hard-earned progress. So, what does that leave Andrew with? A gilded cage at Royal Lodge and a lifetime to reflect. And yet, in that solitude may lie his last opportunity for redemption. The public doesn't want another statement, another royal interview, or another attempt to justify the past. What they want, what they might forgive, is a man who finally takes responsibility. If Andrew were to publicly express sincere remorse, not the carefully scripted kind, but genuine accountability, and dedicate his remaining years to quietly helping others, it could mark the first real step toward healing. Not just for himself, but for the royal family's reputation too. Because, like it or not, the Windsor name and his own are still intertwined. Every royal scandal leaves a shadow on the monarchy, and Andrew's is one of the darkest in recent history. But the British public has a long memory, and a curious capacity for forgiveness, when they see genuine change. We've seen royal figures fall and rise before. It's never easy, and it's never fast, but it's possible. Think about this: if one day, the headlines shifted from disgraced Duke to Prince Andrew devotes life to service, wouldn't that be a story worth telling? Wouldn't that, at last, be a form of redemption? At Crown Chronicles, we believe that the royal story is never truly finished, only rewritten. And perhaps, for Prince Andrew, the final chapter hasn't been written yet. It could still be one of reflection, humility, and purpose. So, as the royal family continues to navigate its modern challenges, from the King's health to Prince William's growing leadership, one question lingers like a ghost over Windsor: will the Duke of York ever step out of the shadow he cast upon himself? Only time will tell. But if Prince Andrew truly wants redemption, it won't come from privilege, it will come from penance. And maybe, just maybe, that's the ending he was meant to write all along. Thanks for watching Crown Chronicles. If you enjoyed this deep dive into royal redemption, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe for more royal revelations, and ring the bell so you never miss a single update from inside the world's most famous family. Because, as always, when it comes to the royals, there's always more beneath the crown.